Welcome students, this is take 2 on graphing lines in y equals mx plus b form for November 18th, that's on Monday. The first video that I posted, I think it went in backwards order, and so I'm redoing it, and I'll get it switched out, so this one will be the correct version. To be able to graph lines using y equals mx plus b form, you've got to be able to plot a point and count out the slope. And so this, question 1 and 2 here, is something we talked about a couple of weeks ago. We did some dot races in our class where you had to plot a point and then count out a slope. And so we're going to revisit that idea here real quick in the notes, and then we'll move on into the new information. So the idea of this is you're going to plot this point, and then you're going to count out this slope. Anytime we have a whole number for a slope, we're going to write it as a fraction. So if it's a whole number, we'll just put it over 1, and that gives us both of our directions. Since it's the positive number on top, and that's our rise, that means we're going to go up. Our bottom is always our run, and we always go right on that number. Okay? When we plot our point, the first dot tells us to go right or left. Since this is negative, we're going to go left. The second dot tells us to go up or down. Since this is positive, that's going to be up. So we're going to start here, which would be left 3, up 1. So 1, 2, 3, up 1. So there's our dot. And then we're going to count out the rise of 3, so that's up 1, 2, 3, over 1. 1, 2, 3, over 1, and then we'll be able to draw our line. Same thing over here. Our 5, since that's positive, tells us we're going to go right 5. Our 2 is positive, so that's going to tell us to go up. I'm going to rewrite this with the negative with the 4. So that's going to tell us we're going to rise down 4, and then we're going to run to the right 3. So we're beginning at 5, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. And then we're going to count out that slope of down 1, 2, 3, 4, over 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. That puts me off of the screen, so I'm not going to do that one. So what I'm going to do is backtrack and go the opposite direction. 1, 2, 3, and then up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that I get 3 good points to graph. And you can always do that if your graph runs out of room. Alright? Alright, the next page. So now they give it to us in this familiar form to us, which is y equals mx plus b. And we talked about it last time. Here we have our m of 2. But we want to write that as a fraction. Since it's a whole number, we put it over 1. And our b is positive 4. Since this is our y-intercept, it really makes more sense for it to be a point. And we talked about in class where the x is always 0 on the y-intercept and the y is just your number. Okay, when we go to graph, we always begin with b, because that's what b begins with. So we're going to begin at 4, and that's 0, 4, so that's over 0, up 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's a big dot at 4. And then the m is our slope, and we'll refer to that as our move, how we're going to move. This is a rise of 2 and a run of 1. So this is up 2, over 1, up 2, over 1, and we draw our line. Okay, over here on this one, mx plus b. There's our m. There's our m. There's our b. So this is negative 3 over 2, and our b is negative 3. So our y-intercept is 0, comma, negative 3. And this is down 3, right 2. Okay, so we begin with b. So we're going to go begin down 3, 1, 2, 3. Nice dot there. Then we're going to count out this slope of down 1, 2, 3, to the right 2. Down 1, 2, 3, to the right 2. And then we draw our line. Now these tell us that we need to solve for y if needed, and you can see that these are not in y equals form, so that's the first step. We draw our box, and this is the lesson that we started learning a couple of weeks back. Subtract 2x from both sides. Subtract 2x, and I'm going to start offsetting it over here to the side so that you know that you should not combine 2x with the 12. That cancels. We bring down our negative 3y. This, we're going to write it into mx plus b form. So we'll put that part first, negative 2x, and then that's a positive 12. Last step, when it's beside it, we divide it, so I'm dividing everything by negative 3. So that becomes y equals, when I type this in my calculator, negative 2 divided by negative 3, I get 2 thirds. It goes positive, and then 12 divided by negative 3 is negative 4. So here's my m, and here's my b. So 2 thirds, which is up 2, right 3. And negative 4 is 0, negative 4. I begin with b. So that's down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm going to count out the slope of up 2, 1, 2, over 1, 2, 3. Up 1, 2, over 1, 2, 3. And draw my line. On number 6, anytime I see a lonesome letter, I got to put a 1 in front of it. Box this. Draw my line down. Minus 1x to both sides. Minus 1x. That cancels. I bring down my positive 2y. This, I'm still trying to get it into mx plus b. So I'm going to put the x part first, negative 1x. And that's also a negative 6. Divide everything by 2. By 2. By 2. Cancels. Negative 1 divided by 2, math 1 enter, would be negative 1 over 2. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. Here's my m, which is down 1, right 2. Here's my b, which is 0, negative 3. I begin with b. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3. And I move with my slope, so that's down 1 over 2. Down 1 over 2. And then I draw my line. Alright, so these are a little bit more complicated. We have some double rainbow that has to happen. I got a double rainbow the half. So y minus 2 equals 1/2 times x is 1/2 x. 1/2 of negative 4 is negative 2. Then I box, draw my line down. To get rid of that minus 2, I do plus 2. It didn't make sense to put it here underneath the x, so I'm going to put it over here, plus 2. Those cancel out. Y equals 1/2 x. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. So this would actually be written as 1/2 x. And we would drop the plus 0 because it doesn't exist. We do need it for our b purposes, so this is our m and this is our b. So our b is 0. The x is always 0 now, the y is 0 on this one. And then our slope is 1/2, which is up 1, right 2. So this time we're going to start at 0, 0, our origin, because we begin with b. And then we're going to move with our m, move with our slope. So that's up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. And then we draw our line. Alright, number 8. This time we're double rainbow on a 0, which kind of seems weird, but we're going to go ahead and do it. Y minus 3, we'll just bring that down. 0 times x is 0x. 0 times 2 is 0. Box this. Get rid of a minus 3 by doing plus 3. I put it underneath this one over here because this does not have the x and we can combine them. Those cancel. Y equals 0x, doesn't have anything to combine to. 0 plus 3 is 3. Okay. Since there are no x's, we're not going to write them, and this will just become y equals 3. But we will need this part for our slope. Our slope is 0, and our y-intercept is 3. So this is 0, 3. And this, if we write it as a fraction, is 0 over 1, which means we're going to go up 0 to the right 1. So we begin with b. It's just up 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to count out a slope of up 0 over 1, up 0 over 1. And you can see that we just get a horizontal or flat line. Anytime you see y equals like that, this is going to be a horizontal line. Okay? The opposite of that would be if you saw just an x equals some number, this would be a vertical line. And we'll try to talk more in class about this on the day that we do it, but x equals will always be a vertical. Y equals with no x will always be a horizontal.